Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning of 15 minutes to change a mitzvah Hashem to change our lives. We're learning Kuntres Amayin. We're up to Maamar Hey. Baruch Hashem, we're going through slowly but surely. We'll start off by giving some tzedakah. Geula tzedakah shmekareves Geula. It's Hashem with the zchus of our learning should bring Geula for all the Yidden in Eretz Yisrael, and only achtay v'chesed, only good for them and for the hostages and for the soldiers, for Yosef Yitzchak ben Simcha and his unit, and specifically for Talya bat Edna, that she should be safe and only good for her and for the other unfortunate hostages, that the zchus of our learning in our avodah should bring a speedy return. Okay, so now we're going to, in this Maim, in the next till, I think it's Yud Aleph, till Maim Yud Aleph, we're going to discuss the way that we're fooled. The Yetzer Hara fools us into making us believe that we can have the cake and eat it. We're going to discuss that. Till now, we've been discussing that we had this thing called zchus. That's how we started the whole Kuntres Amayin. There's a thing called zchus that turns us away from the derech emes. Then we discussed different. Then there's kaddish atzcha mutalach, that you should sanctify yourself with permissible things, which is one level of shtus, that even the things are permissible, we don't do it for the right reason. And then we got into even worse than that, which is things that are pashat asur. And how does it come about that we do something asur? And we talked about the fact that the Yetzer Hara, either nefesh bahamis is very strong, and he has a lot of, they have a lot of things they want, or we feed it and we make it strong. And also we talked about how, like in the case of the Seitzah, by nature, Yid doesn't want to separate themselves from Hashem. And we talked about how when we do an Avera, it does separate ourselves. And we talked about what it does when we do an Avera. And what does Klippa come, where does the life force of Klippa come from? And then unfortunately we do an Avera, we connect with Klippa and what Klippa is and where its life force comes from. And it's Mavis and it's Avodah Zarah Mamish. And so then we asked the question, yesterday, the last few days, so then how is it possible we do this? And this is the problem. This is the Yetzer Hara. That they convince us that it's not so bad. But of course, when we recognize the truth, which happens when we recognize the truth, so then there's no questions. We don't have any questions. The problem is recognizing the truth. And so now we're going to discuss more of how this is possible to come about, that the Yetzer Hara does this. Maamar Hey Perek Aleph. And behold, Masha Yetzer Hara Mavtichai. This the Yetzer Hara promises us. Yetzer Hara, this is the challenge of life. We all have this, and also I think it's a very important realized message that when we fall prey to the Yetzer Hara, we don't say to ourselves, I'm a bad person. We say, oh, that means I'm normal. I have the Rebbe Rashab knew about me, and he wrote a whole Kuntres just for me to understand how to deal with my Yetzer Haras. We all have it. So what happened? Yetzer Hara mavtichoi shegam im yaseh ma'aser ra, that even though you'll do something that's wrong, that you know that's wrong, that it's against halacha, mikal makom tevi eloi, nevertheless will be good. I won't do it. I won't make the bracha. I won't wait 6 hours or whatever it is, and whatever Yetzer Hara we have, and part of that avodah is to recognize it, because we don't say to ourselves in such a clear way, hey, I know this is wrong, but I won't do it. We say, oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna bench later. I'm gonna go later. I just need to finish this one thing, and then I'm gonna go to bench. Those types of things. It doesn't come direct. It's Yetzer Hara. He's very good at it. So that's what he tells us. And nevertheless, we think this will be good. I want to say, even though I should be careful what I eat, I should go to sleep. I shouldn't watch this thing. Or I shouldn't do this thing. I shouldn't. Now they're talking about it in Eretz Yisrael, all the things that people shouldn't be watching things. But I go on and it'll be fine. I'll still do all the other things. I just need to watch it. So how does he convince us? Yeah, that even though we will do the wrong thing, it'll still be good. Like it says in Devarim, and he'll bless himself in his heart. This is what it says in the pasuk. Lamer, and we'll say, Shalom Yeli. And we say to ourselves, I'll be good. And we convince ourselves. We say, yeah, it'll be good. I'll make the cake and I'll eat it and it'll be all good. I'll do that, and I'll still have a good life. The gam zeh mi pusi hayetz. This is also the foolishness of the Yetzer Hara. Asher neifes titoifno, and that it's the honey drips. Neifes titoifno. The honey drips. Sifse zara from the mouth of the harlot. But in the end, mara, it's bitter. Kalano, like wormwood. Meaning, in the beginning, it looks sweet like honey, and it's like, oh, this is the biggest thing I want to, this is going to be so much fun. Let me connect. Let me do this thing. Let me watch this thing. Let me do this thing, eat this thing, stay up late, say this Lashon Hara, whatever it is. Let me do this thing. And then, but in the end, it becomes like wormwood. And this is the foolishness of Yetzer Hara. That's a hard, and the Yetzer Hara does this to us. Convinces us it's going to be so yummy and so sweet and so good, but in the end, it becomes very bitter for us. Another example, there's many examples, and this is something we have to bring with ourselves to figure out how does this apply to me. One other example is a simple one is having stress. Lack of bitachon produces stress. When you get older and you have family and kids, and there's a lot of reasons to stress. If you have bitachon and you're connected to Hashem, and you're nefesh l'kis, and you're trying to learn every day a little bit, and connect yourself and try to listen to Yetzer Tov and the nefesh l'kis, so then you have less stress. But if you listen to Yetzer Hara, he comes with all these tightness to make you nice and stressed. In the beginning, he says, yeah, it's good and it feels good, and he makes you think about these ideas. But then in the end, it's bitter. It makes you not connect, not learn, and not connect to Hashem. And it feels good, and I'm watching this thing, or I'm doing this thing, or I'm reading this thing, or whatever it is, and it feels good. But in the end, you walk around stressed. What's going to be? What's going to be? What's going to be? And that's what we're saying. It starts off good, it looks good, it sounds good. We have to ask ourselves, in the end, what's going to be? First, we want to understand this pasuk of this wormwood, and how this comes about. We have to understand something. First, First, understand what the pasuk means. It says, "Shalom will be peaceful to me." I'm going to go according to my heart's desire. I'll listen to what my heart says. And we're going to get in the next few days. We're going to learn this. It's going to get a little bit technical, but you stick with it and you'll understand it. That it says we go according to our heart's desire. In order to satiate, I'm going to discuss what these words all mean. The harav es tzmeah, the satiated with the thirsty. Mashma's pasuk. So the simple way to understand this is the chi b'shus libi, who in the sinas tam al mashakasuv kaidem isbarach levavai. That going according to the heart's desire is explaining what we said before, that I'll have peace by going according to my heart's desire. If I want to have peace in my life, I'll listen to what my heart says, and I'll go do it. And because of going according to my heart's desire, listening to what my heart says, then I'll have peace. So in a move on, so the Rashi says, seemingly, this doesn't make any sense. And even klal, not at all. It doesn't make any sense. Because the eich yidamem benavshay, how would a person come to think? It's such a funny question from the Rashi. You can see on the level like we're meant to be at. He goes, how could a person think to themselves that dafka kasher yelech b'shus liboy, that's specifically going according to my heart's desire, al yedei zeh yeshamlei, that's what's going to bring me peace. He says it doesn't make any sense. Who would think such a thing? Listening to what my heart says, and then I'll have peace. He's saying it doesn't make sense. And also, what does it mean to satiate the rava, the thirsty? Sated with the thirsty. And that's what we're going to discuss. And now, what does that part mean? But the question is such a funny question. Well, it's the way Rashab, it's like so obvious. Like he's like, why would someone think such a thing? That they're going to listen to their heart and then it'll all be good? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what the pasuk is saying. That's what, and for, I guess for, only to speak for myself, that, yeah, I see how that happens all the time. So let's see, what does it mean, Tzveis Harava? And it's going to explain, basically, it's talking about the Yid and the guy and the Neshama Yisrael, where Neshama comes from. We're going to talk about, let's see, the Rashi in Sanhedrin, Peirish, Tzveis. The Rashi in Masechta Sanhedrin, he explains, what does it mean, Tzveis? is lashon chibur. Sfos means connected. Like they connected one year to the next. That and safu kanosfos means connect. Varadak, and the Radak, he says, David Kimchi, he was around the times of the Rambam, a little bit after. His Perish Lashon Tesefis, that the language of Sfos means Tesefis, adding a Chamoy Lisfos Oid to add more. That your carbon oil should be added in addition to the zevach, the peace sacrifice, and meaning. So Rashi saying Sfos means language of adding, connecting. Sorry, and Haradak means adding. Operish Rava, and the word and the meaning satiated. What's the mean? Thirsty. Perish Rashi Sham. Rashi explains over there in Sanhedrin. Rava, satiated, meaning sated, good. I'm good. That is talking about an akum, which is an oivdei kecham mazal, is the person says idol worship, meaning a guy. Shesveim ve'enam tzemeim liyitzom, that they're satiated, satisfied, full, ve'enam tzemeim, and they're not thirsty liyitzom to their creator, meaning they don't have a need to connect to Hashem. Tzemeim, whereas the word tzemeim, zu knesset Yisrael, tzemeim being thirsty, that's talking about a yid. The Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people, that we are thirsty and we have like this desire to have fear of Hashem and to connect to Hashem and do His mitzvahs, and fulfill His mitzvahs. So we by nature want to connect to Hashem and do His mitzvahs. It's no the Knesset Yisrael. When we talk about Knesset Yisrael above in the higher worlds. And Atzilus, Shehu Bechinas Malchus, which is the level of Malchus, kingship. He Neshamas Yisrael Shalamato. It's connected, synonymous with the Jewish people below. V'nikras Gamkein Tzmeya Shetzmeya Liyetzan. That it's also called thirsty for its creator. That the Malchus of Atzilus is thirsty to the creator, and we down below are thirsty to our creator. So let's understand this a little bit better. As Malchus, the level of Malchus of kingship. Remember, there's 10 attributes, 10 levels in the whole worlds, and the last of each world is Malchus. So what's Malchus? He marker hamahav machaya elames. Malchus is the source that makes the worlds exist, brings the world into existence. Yeah, from Malchus of Atzilus is the source for Chesed of Bria. Yeah, the lowest world, which is in the higher world, is really the source of the creation for the next world. Like it says in Tehillim, Malchus, your kingship is kingship over all the worlds. Meaning the whole world, the source of their existence is mibechinas Malchus, is from the level of Malchus. So all the worlds come from Malchus. Yeah, and like we said in the beginning, there's Malchus, that Neshamas Yisrael is Malchus of Atzilus, and so we are also connected to this type of level. Like it says in Nehemiah, and you give life to all of them. Ata, you, hey, what does it mean? What does the word Ata represent? Hey, me Aleph ad Taf. From the Aleph, first letter of the alphabet, till Taf, till the last. The hey, which is the hey is synonymous with speech. So we're saying that the speech that creates the world from that which with speech of the letters of Aleph to Taf, which create the world. Hey, Malchus, which is on the level of Malchus. And from that draws down life for all the worlds. Don't say that it gives life. It brings into existence. Explains that elsewhere. I mean, it's not just that makes it into exist once, but it brings it into existence. We exist because of this level. And it's known, I'm just going to finish off the paragraph. And it's known, this level, which is the source of making the worlds exist. hu rak he'ara levad shebe'ein aroich lagabi atzmus. In regards to Hashem's essence, it's infinitely separate. And this is the source of what makes the worlds exist. That's what we're saying. So the source of what makes the world exist, the world you look around, you see, and to the extent that it even becomes physical, it's so removed from Hashem himself. Tarei me'atz musar ein sof lo haya efshar liyos hishavos ha'olamos v'nivraim ba'al gvul, because Atzmus, Hashem's essence, and creating our physical world, it's impossible to join together. It doesn't work. You can't get from Atzmus to a physical world. They're two separate. The fish gvul or built ba'al gvul hein bein arech klal, because something that's unlimited and something that's limited, they don't come together. It's like different wavelengths. They never match. They never come. Explain another places at length. It's only from a ray the worlds come into existence. So essentially, we're finishing off here. That essentially what we're saying is that we're starting to go to understand how is it possible that we would come to think that just listening to our heart's desires will be good for us, and we don't realize that we have to actually do what's right and not just listen to whatever heart says. So he says, first you have to understand how the world was created. Let's have to go back to the beginning. You have God himself, Atzmus, and ultimately, as we learn in Chassidus, there's different levels of understanding of all this, meaning different levels of God's expression. There's the ultimate level, which is called Atzmus, Hashem himself, above anything and anything you could ever describe. And then there's our physical world, and our physical world comes from this whole Seder Yishtalshus, whole descent, chain-like descent of godliness, and it starts, and in each world, from Atzilus, Bria, Tzir, and Asiyah, it has a descent, and the source for each world is the Malchus, and that's essentially what we're saying. I know it's a little bit Kabbalistic, but you try to keep them going, and you'll see it'll all connect back together very soon. Have an amazing Shabbos, everyone, and thank you for joining.